time now for latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Board of Education met Tuesday for their monthly board meeting. The board made some decisions on the new track that will soon be built at the high school, but the TQ contract representatives on hand last night says it's too optimistic to believe the new track will be ready for the start of this year's track season. They hope to begin shortly, but the timetable they state more likely around mid-March or early May. For completion, the board voted to go with the Spurton BV surface, which the cost $331,938, comes with a 5-year warranty. Also finalized the decision on the 30-foot lights, not the 50-foot lights. Once again, the same company doing the tracks, doing the renovation of the James E. Bacon project, which Superintendent Jay Brinson says the Wayne County school system still waiting on that GMP from the state, which is the guaranteed maximum price of the project, because once that's set, they can't charge the school system more than the guaranteed price. And they hope to begin on that project once they get the GMP. Good news on the COVID front of the schools with students and employees. Superintendent Brinson says the overall county has seen a spike in cases, but the school system says they're maintaining low numbers, hoping to get through the holidays. And they stated a big issue, though, is the number of teachers absent at various schools in the system. Brinson says some of it's COVID-related, some quarantined due to their spouses having come down with COVID. But all in all, everyone pleased with the school system and how they handled the pandemic thus far as the schools continue to be in session here at Wayne County. The board approved the guidelines for wrestling events at the school, as wearing a mask is required even inside during the event. The masks need to be worn the entire time. Dr. Brinson says they had a report of one parent refusing to wear the mask. Once again, they stated last night, if you can't follow the school's guidelines, you need to simply stay home. Chairman Nick Ellis had put on the agenda public input on the search for the superintendent, but no one in the audience spoke on the subject. Ellis says he'll put it back on the next board agenda. So at this time, they're seeking the public's input. They have a survey on their school website. They're asking the public to fill out that survey and take time to give board members their thoughts. Nick Ellis is going to join us on the world famous Butch and Bob show to talk about the survey and talk about the search for the new superintendent. Ellis says once the board comes back after the new year, the work will begin on the search for the next school superintendent in Wayne County. Ellis says the board will be having a lot of meetings once the new year begins to complete the search. Hopefully by February, they'll have the person in place as the current superintendent, Dr. Brinson, leaving at the end of March. Again, let's look at your Tuesday school board meeting. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, we've got more from Tuesday's County Commissioners meeting regarding the discussion before the vote on the proposed budget by County Administrator Ed Jeffers, in which the budget passed on Monday night by a vote of 3-2. Commissioners Chairman Herschel Hires, James Booth Thomas, and Mike Roberts voting in favor of the budget, while Commissioners Ralph Hickox and Kevin McCrary voted against. Here's more of the discussion with Kevin McCrary speaking first, and then Mr. Hickox and his exchange with the Administrator Ed Jeffers.
We should be able to give the taxpayers a break on their taxes, especially during this pandemic, and take better care of our employees by taking out some of these unaccountable spending, and we would be able to give them maybe not a raise, or more of a raise than what they already get, but more of that money would be accountable, and we can show them where we can put the money to give them better start-out pay for those positions.
I'd like to see the budget more transparent, especially the revenue compared to what we're spending. It's like I said, it's not on our report that we were 4 million plus, and then the statement about the grant about us being, they have to lay people off because we want to give some relief on the millage. We gave 1 mil relief. We could have done much more than that to help people in this time. Instead, we didn't. But at the very minimum, I think we should be amending the budget to at least be accountable. Is there any reason why we're not amending the budget, Mr. Jeffers? I mean, the audit team is asking for that. It's in the audit to do that. Is there any reason why we're not doing that on a regular basis? We didn't do it all of 19 or 20. Why?
I tried to do it in 19, Commissioner, and going forward over here, I plan on doing it this year. To that point, just moving forward over here, and from a revenue standpoint, if I may. Again, the $26 million that you pointed out, $2 million or $1.8 million of that is the in-kind payback in there. If I look, and what I do every year, every budget, is get the numbers from the tax commissioner based on a percentage, based on her data and what she's going to collect and what her judgment is. I push that more. I pushed that more, about 4.5% to 5% more than what she told me she was going to give us. I pushed the revenue on each one of these things. Now,
Chris, I just came to Chris, and he said, he would be surprised, he would be surprised if we hit 27 million in revenue this year.
from his standpoint, he's looking at that, but he did a journal entry, Commissioner, and I don't see where that number is, and I'm not, he ain't here, I'm not having a discussion with him. My point is, this is what the revenue that I came up with, based on the cash coming in here, based on line item by line item that I gave to y'all, and it came up to 24.
We just spoke for less than 2 million.
24.4.
4 million that he's got in his audit here that we were unassigned. What is that? That's in the 19 budget. It's in on page, I know you've read it, we went through this. Page 9 of the audit. He says, watch, show it, have it here. It says that the county increased unassigned fund balance in the general fund by $4.37709 million, I'm sorry, $4.3 million, or 179%, which is good. I mean, I'm glad to see that, but that doesn't, and it proves in the point, the fact we're pushing the TAN back, and I like that, we're pushing the TAN back. But the implied that we were about to cut people back whenever we went from, in 18, when we raised the taxes, 180-something employees to 209 now, we're not cutting back, we're raising employees.
Commissioner, I laid the budget out based on that. His numbers and his audit, the not cash coming in. And when I look at the revenue in general fund is what cash is coming in and what I'm paying out. And this is numbers I came up with. And, I can talk to Chris and find out, and we'll do that. But the numbers I gave y'all is the best numbers that I can come up with.
I would like to go back.
Again, that part of the discussion Monday night before the vote was taken. Once again, the vote was 3-2 to pass the budget. Both Commissioners Thomas and Hires under with Commissioners commended the administrator for the work he's done on the budget. The Commissioners held budget work sessions last week with various department heads to go over their individual department budgets. The Commissioners approved their tax anticipation note on Monday as well. This year, they state that rather than having a $6 million line item of credit, there will be only a $4 million line item of credit. Again, the administrator stressed they only use that when and if needed. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In final notes, the U.S. Senator David Perdue is going to be campaigning in Jesup, Georgia this coming Friday at the Farmers Market. The event's going to take place at 10:45 a.m. The public's invited to attend. Perdue in a runoff on January 5th against the Democratic candidate John Ossoff. Once again, David Perdue making a campaign stop this coming Friday in Jesup at the Farmers Market at 10:45 a.m. The runoff voting begins on Monday, December 14th. It'll run through Tuesday, December 22nd. It's a 3-week early voting period from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Wayne County Courthouse. Then on Wednesday, December 23rd from 8 to 12 noon. They remind you they're going to be closed on Thursday and Friday, December 24th and 25th for the Christmas holiday. They'll reopen for advanced in-person voting on Monday, December 28th and run through December 31st from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're on the elderly disabled list, you'll receive your ballot shortly. And they ask that you please be sure to sign your oath envelope before returning. Do not print. They must verify all signatures with each voter registration card. Early voting at the courthouse will be observing social distancing. Hand sanitizer will be at each voting booth, and poll workers will be sanitizing after each voter. All poll workers will be wearing masks. Voters are encouraged to wear a mask, but it's not mandatory. Masks and gloves will be available upon request. Also, handicapped and over 75 years of age voters should enter the courthouse via the handicap entrance, which is in the back of the courthouse, where they'll be given priority voting per federal law. Again, if you have any questions about the early voting period, simply call the voter registrar's office. That number is 427-5950. The Georgia Supreme Court this Monday affirmed 2 convictions in 2 Wayne County murder cases. Antonio Lanier was charged with 2 counts of murder, theft by taking of a firearm, armed robbery, possession of firearm during a felony, and tampering with evidence in the deaths of Ada and Gerald Love. Mr. and Mrs. Love were shot to death in their home back on October 11, 2012 in Wayne County. Lanier was convicted on all counts by a Wayne County jury in February of 2015. Lanier was sentenced to prison for 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole plus 15 years. Also, Eugenia Shell was charged with murder, aggravated stalking, making a false statement as a law enforcement officer, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and terroristic threats in connection with the death of her mother, Miss Willie Jo Vaughn, who was found submerged in her car in the Altamaha River after having become After having been missing for a week in November of 2014, Shell was also tried and convicted by a Wayne County jury. She was sentenced to prison for 2 consecutive life sentences plus 20 years. And both cases have been through the appeals process, and the convictions again affirmed by the Georgia Supreme Court this past Monday. Hospice Society Georgia is having a big community Christmas celebration this Friday, December the 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. at their location located at 1625 Sunset Boulevard, directly across from Bill Morris Park. Free activities, tree lighting, ornament making, hot chocolate, popcorn, pictures with Santa. Need more information before Friday, simply call Hospice Society Georgia 588-0080. And the Odom Sing Around the Tree is set for December 14th, 6:30 p.m. at the Odom Train Depot. Entertainment by the Jesup Church of God Youth Choir, Frontline Warriors, Treble Clef Studio, and Charity Whitson. Bring your own chair, blanket, golf cart, hot chocolate, and cookies will be provided. Again, that date, December 14th, 6:30 p.m. in Odom at the Odom Train Depot. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.